Alright, so as you can see here in the first question, they're asking you to simplify. If I have 3 apples and I take away 9 apples, I'm actually short 6 apples, which doesn't even make sense, but 3 minus 9 does make sense, and that's negative 6. It's kind of like a credit card. You don't have the full $9, but you've got 3, but you're still short $6. Can you think of it that way? Question number 2, it says solve for x, and so I have negative 6 is equal to 2 plus 4x, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract that 2 on both sides. And I end up with negative 8 is equal to 4x, and I'm then going to divide by 4 on both sides. And I end up with x is equal to negative 2. This is going to cancel to 1. Alright. Give the location of burn as an ordered pair. Where's burn? Here's burn. Remember the x goes first, so this is a 2. And then we look at the y value, which is negative 5. So burn is at 2, negative 5. Because you start at the origin, you go over 2 and down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2, negative 5. That's the location of burn. The next question says simplify the following expressions. So you're going to take like terms and you're going to bring them together, group them together. So this gives you negative 4x squared, right? 8 minus 12. There's only a 1 5x, so we're going to put that loner by itself. And then lastly, if I owe you $6 and I give you 8, I overpaid you by $2. And that's all they want you to do there. Find the X-intercept and the Y-intercept. Remember, to do this, both numbers have to divide into negative 28, and they do. So in this case, x, which is, okay, so remember, the X-intercept is where x has a value, y is 0. So I want you to think of this as, if I have 4 times a number, plus 7 times 0, that goes away, is negative 28. The only way that is true is if x is equal to negative 7 and y is equal to 0. So this answer is actually negative 7, 0. The reverse is going to happen here because if I have 4 times 0, which is 0, plus 7 times some number has to give me negative 28, well in this case that has to be negative 4. So obviously you can see that's the coordinate point 0, negative 4. We like to put coordinate points in parentheses. Number 6, graph the line whose x-intercept is negative 1. Okay, so when y is 0, x is negative 1. And whose y-intercept is negative 5. Okay, so it's a line. Okay, I'm having a hard time getting some of you to understand it. It's not a coordinate point, it's a line. A line has, you connect it this way, and you connect it that way. Yeah? Alright. Last, number 7, graph the line. They give you negative 1 over 3x plus 6. So my intercept is already known. It's 0, 6. When x is 0, y is 6. According to this, I'm going to go down 1 over 3. That's my next point. So if I graph this line, I'm in essence having a negative slope going this way. Remember the rule, if I have xy, technically I start with 0, 6. Then I'm going to go down 1 and over 3 for the x, so that my next point should be 3, 5. And if you notice, that's the point, 3, 5. Remember, this is your slope. Okay, number 8. Solve for w. And so we could distribute. That would be the first step I would take. To get negative 3w minus 21 is equal to negative 5w minus 15. I'm going to move stuff around now, which means that I'm going to add 5w and move it to this side. And I'm going to add 21 and move it to this side. So if you notice, this cancels, you're left with 2w is equal to 6. And so w is equal to 3. Alright, the next question. I'm solving for w, so I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 5 over 7. Negative 5 over 7. So what happens is that the negatives cancel on this side, and the 7s and the 5s, leaving you just w equal to, and you're going to get negative 5 over 7 times negative 42 over 1. Remember, 7 goes into negative 42 negative 6 times, leaving you w is equal to positive 30. Because this is what you're left with, these two little guys, and then multiplied. Alright, number 10. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x. Y-intercept negative 2. Done. Then graph the line. So if the intercept is negative 2, I'm going to go according to the slope up 1 over 2. That's my next point. Done, son. The next one is graph the line. First thing you're going to do is write it in slope-intercept form. So subtract the 4x on both sides. So this leaves you y equals negative 4x plus 8. Alright, and so that means that when x is 0, y is 8. According to this, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and over 1. And so this should look like a straight line as such. Okay, in the next question, number 12 out of 30, it says write equation of a line. The equation of the line is given below. Use x and y intercepts. Do both of these numbers divide into 36? And the answer is yes. So you start with 6 times 0 minus 4 times some number y is equal to 36. Well, that's a negative 4, so this has to be negative 9. So that's 0, negative 9 for the first value. The next item would be 6x minus 4 times 0 is 36. So 6 times some number x has to be equivalent to 36. So this has to be positive 6. So my next intercept point would be 6, 0 for the x-intercept. Remember, the x-intercept is where the x sits, or the number sits where the variable sits, and this is the y-intercept. So I have 0, negative 9, which is down here, and I have 6, 0, which is up here. So this line goes something like this. Alright, number 13. It says graph the line with the slope 3 over 4, so y equals 3 over 4x, and the intercept is negative 5, which means that when x is 0, y is negative 5. So 0, negative 5 puts me here. According to my slope, I'm going to go up 3 units, and I'm going to go over 4 units. And that's my new point. Okay, you can also do it, by the way, if you have x and y as a table. You have 0, negative 5. This is going to go up 3, this is going to go over 4, and this is my slope. So you'll have 4, negative 2 for a point. If you notice, the point here is 4, negative 2. Alright, wonderful. Compute, basically add. You could use a calculator. 3 plus, there's no multiplication, by the way. There's no division. There's nothing with parentheses, nothing with exponents. So left to right, 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 minus 11 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 8 is minus 10. And minus 10 plus 1 is negative 1. Done, son. Alright, next question. Find the x-intercept and y-intercept of the line below. Okay, well there you go. And there you go. So this point is 0, negative 4. And this point here is the point 2, comma 0. Done, son. Alright, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with slope 3/4. Okay, so y equals 3/4 x. This is the intercept, so that's minus 4. Done. Okay, and then this one gets a little bit more intricate because they're giving you a point and they're giving you a slope. So in this case, if I say y equals mx plus b, and I substitute in what I have, I just have to find b. So I end up with negative 7 is equal to negative 3 over 2 times 4 over 1 plus b. This gives me negative 7 is equal to negative 12 divided by 2 makes that a negative 6 plus b. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I end up with b equals negative 1. So finish the equation according to this. Y equals negative 3 over 2x minus 1. Okay, they want to know in the next question if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So if I look at, where do we even begin with this? Okay, so if I'm looking at this one as an anchor question, and I divide by 5, so if I divide by 5 here, here, and here, you can see that these guys have the same slope. So lines 1 and 2 are parallel because they have the same slope. If I look at the equation where I'm looking at line 3, for example, line 3 I have 10x minus 4y equals negative 8, so I'm going to subtract the 10x. So I have negative 4y is equal to negative 10x minus 8. And then what I'm going to do is divide by negative 4 here, here, and here. So this cancels. This gives me 5 over 2x. So is it a negative reciprocal? It is. So these two are perpendicular, as are these two technically, right? Alright, and then neither, I don't think you have a neither application for that. Okay, last one. Owners of, or 19 I should say, owners of a recreation area are filling a small pond with water. They are adding water at a rate of 25 liters per minute. There are 600 liters in the pond to start. Keyword start. Let W represent the amount of water in the pond and in liters, and let T represent the number of minutes in the water. Okay, and so basically what we have here is this is the rate, so that's your slope, and that's the start, so that's your y-intercept. And so W is equal to 25t plus 600. And then they want you to graph it. So when t is 0, we're at 600. When t is 1, let's pick another number. When t is 4, this should be at 700. And when t is at 8, it should be at 800. That should be the equivalent of that. So you basically are substituting. Okay, so same thing here. You have a line. They want you to find the slope and the y-intercept. So before you even begin, you have to re-express this. So I have to add 3x to both sides. So it cancels over here, leaving me negative 5y is equal to 3x minus 10. And then the last step is to divide by negative 5 here, here, and here. This leaves you y is equal to negative 3/5 x plus 2. And then they want you to identify the slope, which is negative 3/5, and the intercept, which is 0, 2.
Can't sign in. I don't know.
Okay, let me see here. If I have find the slope and y-intercept of the line, well, there's your slope, and your y-intercept is simply 0, 9. Alright, and then write an equation of this line. So you see how this is at negative 5, negative 1? So they're basically giving you a point. Here's the other point, which is the y-intercept, so which is 0, negative 4. All I really need is a slope. You could do it by counting. So from the 5, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, and I'm coming over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a change of negative 3 in the y and a change of 5 in the x. So that's your slope. So now all I need is y equals negative 3/5 x minus 4. Done. Alright. It says write the equation ax plus by equals c form, and they're giving you that. So basically you distribute the 3 and you get y plus 1 is equal to y plus 1 is equal to 3x minus 9, and so we're going to subtract 1 on both sides, so y is equal to 3x minus 10. Now they want this in this form, so what I'm going to have to do is bring the 3x back over. Okay, so that's going to give me negative 3x plus y is equal to negative 10. We don't care about the negative being here, but we do not like a negative to start. So what I am going to do is multiply the whole equation by negative 1, which is going to give me 3x minus y is equal to 10. Okay. Number 24. Write the equation for the vertical and horizontal lines passing through the point 7, 9. So here's the deal. So let's do the vertical line first. If it's 7, negative 9, let's pretend that's 7, and let's go all the way down here, and let's say that's negative 9. So this point is sitting here. If I want a vertical line, then that vertical line, if you remember, is where x is equal to 7. So x equals 7. If I want a horizontal line, then I'm going this way, and then I have y equals negative 9. Alright, number 25, consider the line. What is the slope of the line parallel to this line? So if it's the slope, it's the same for parallel, and for perpendicular, negative reciprocal. So let's find the slope of this line. So I have negative 9y is equal to 5x plus 3. I'm going to divide by negative 9 on all three terms. This gives me y is equal to negative 5 over 9x minus 1/3. So the slope would have to be negative 5/9 for it to be parallel. Negative 5/9. For it to be perpendicular, it has to be the negative reciprocal. So the slope would have to be positive 9 over 5. Okay, for number 26, find the slope and y-intercept of the line. So in this case, if I'm looking at this equation, first thing I need to do is find the slope. So I have 5x minus 2y to start, and this is equal to negative 10. And so I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides, and I'm left with negative 2y is equal to negative 5x minus 10, and I'm going to divide by negative 2 here, here, and here. So this becomes y equals 5 over 2x as a slope, and this is obviously plus 5. So now the question becomes, what is the slope? What's the y-intercept? Well, your slope is 5 over 2. Your intercept is simply going to be 0, 5. Okay, and this is the same thing. I'm not going to do that one again. You know how to graph a line by now. And same thing for this. So I think you guys are great. You're going to be fabulous. Read this, watch this, and